the government. We are paying the tax to meet the general expenditure of the government, taxes, justice, law and order, etc. So there is no direct benefit. But we suggested that there should be benefit. Since we are paying tax, so we must get the benefit. But this benefit principle cannot apply here. So you have to understand that's why I said in the beginning you are paying tax. But tax means what? Transfer of purchasing power from individual to the government. The amount that you have paid, you are deprived of the benefit of that. So if you are deprived of that purchasing power, and what benefit you are losing by not spending that money for your own self-interest, is it known to the political authority? Not known. There is no machinery also to know. Similarly, if expenditure is made, it is not, and the point here is what? Those who are making the expenditure must know its benefit also. But the expenditure is done for us. So we are the beneficiaries. That benefit is not known to the you can say decision maker or the politician, but there is a general perception in his mind that I am doing this expenditure, this welfare measure, this development expenditure, this flyover, this road, this power plant, people must be getting benefit. So this is a general perception, but the question is, there is no direct quid pro quo that the taxation is paid and benefit is received. Similarly, Nat Mitchell theory, when he said that there should be benefit if you are paying the tax, but this is actually not accurate in the today's legal world. Then you say this, I'm just saying how this concept or theory of public choice has started. Nat Mitchell is one of the earliest writers who propounded the benefit theory of taxation. Here also, in public choice, we are having the reflection of that in a different form. What I said, self-interest. Self-interest of ours and self-interest of the political process of public choice. And that self-interest is guarding the decision maker from our side. We are voting to a particular political party in the expectation that we get the benefit. Similarly, political parties are expecting to maximize the vote by getting expenditure of particular kind. Actually, from their side, vote maximization, from our side, utility maximization, satisfaction maximization, both of them guided by self-interest. Our self-interest is maximizing benefit, their self-interest is maximizing vote. Political parties are involved in that. And here your constitutional process is involved. Because election is not coming daily, 5 years. So you understand, there is a process. And election has also a process. It is a particular period, 5 years. Similarly, how election is conducted, it is also needing account. So rules are there. I am not saying it is not there. But you have again to take into account that there are number of authors involved in the process. They try to understand actually the political as to how decisions are arrived in the case of public expenditure. That's why I said in the beginning that in the field of public expenditure, it is less of economic theory and more of the political decision making. And that you have to be clear in your mind as to how it is taking place. So there are a number of authors written different books as to economic theory of democracy. Economic theory. So, these are good things, but the question is the actual operation is very, very different from that. Because the real world cannot be presented in a particular cut and dry theory. But those theories are there. We are trying to understand how to do it. So there are certain but the point you have to note in public choice theory, most of the authors are Nobel laureate in economics. And what they said, let me give one example here, whose book is considered as Bible of public choice. Here I am referring to you can say his book is Calculus of Consent. Calculus of Consent. Then full title is Logical Foundation of Constitutional Democracy. This is the title of the book, which was published in 1962. And the author here is, you can say, Buchanan and Gordon. Now, this book is considered one of the main seminal books on the public choice theory. As you see the title, Calculus of Consent. Consent between what? Logical foundation of constitutional democracy. You talk democracy, constitutional democracy. Logical foundation. How this consent is coming, as I have already said, there is election. Political party. Decisions arrived at by majority. Majority doesn't mean everybody is agreeing. So the term is consensus. Not 100% agreement. There are votes against. So you have to take this. This is happening within democracy. Constitutional democracy. Consent, the point is how this consensus is being arrived at in different situations. So why they use the calculus? He used the calculus like a stone. This means that very rigid or you can think like this. No, you do not say, you shouldn't say that it is a stone or rigid. It is not like that. Sometimes I say it is your calculation, my calculation is different. Means how you estimate. Do not go to that mathematics of calculus, that it is rigid, it can't go beyond that. So it is not that. But the question is, you have to understand the spirit behind. And the other part is that the logical foundation of constitutional democracy. Means that, as I said earlier, in democracy you have this process. Everything that is taking place today in Delhi is constitutional. So you take that fact into account that democracy is there and how it works, in what manner it is working, as I have already said, whether it's in a sound manner or not so sound manner, it differs from country to country. And in the same country, it differs from one time to the other. You take our democracy in 1960, 70, 80, 90, and then 2000, and then today. Is it the same? We have been able to refine it. You have to, I should say, we have been able to make it more transparent, make it more predictable, make it more calculated. Because the process that is involved, we are learning. Learning is what? Learning is always we learn by our mistakes. What happened earlier should not happen. But the question is that democratic thing is continuing, and here you have to understand how we are getting used to this kind of what I said, the system of public choice. And here, what are the things involved? Now I'm coming to those things. In democracy, the ideology is involved. Yes. Political parties are divided on certain ideological lines. We are also having certain personal preferences, certain ideologies. So ideology works. So when you give vote to a political party, you know that this party will do this thing, that thing. So this ideology is the part of that public choice, comes somewhere. Of course, in the given Indian situation, to my mind, ideology is no. One party is there that is, of course, ideological attached, the left party. But because of their limited appeal to the larger mass, they have not been able to mobilize that support to themselves. But the party ideology is good. We see it should win, it should really do something for the poor, and it should do not in that corrupt manner as other parties are doing, because their record is good, wherever they are. So you have to take into account that ideology is there, but the question here is there are so many things come in the democracy that you have to see and understand. In this context, I will say one of two things. Have you heard vote trading? In democracy happens vote trading. The vote trading so Indian context horse trading है. MLAs, MPs are, you know it, I am not going into that today. Vote trading. And you also understand here, now actually, if I give an example of vote trading, actually it is political, but the question is vote trading. How it happens? Let me think of the example.
So what will you
You can use new term, but actually it is that is a good term. Looks like social engineering, but how it is engineering, you know. It is manual. It is manual. Anyway, I am not going to. So, vote trading, you take for example. Suppose we are in town. We want certain kind of benefit. Our political representative to take votes is ready to do that kind of service or expenditure. This is one class. Rural people, they want a particular kind of benefit. And their representative is different. So these two representatives sometimes vote trading. Our people will do this, your people will support my program, and I will support your program. I mean, rural representative will support urban representative will support the rural representative. What is this? This is actually vote trading. So you just try to understand how, my point here is how democracies work here. This is, vote trading is very common. If you support me here, I will support you there. But in this support system, actually vote is involved. You will get vote from your partner, I will get vote from my constituency. But I am getting that support, so it gets strengthened. So there is a term that we are using, vote trading. And then here you also find one word is wealth transfer. Benefit is what? Wealth transfer. Now, how this public expenditure is what? It is leading to vote trading, it is leading to wealth transfer also. In what form? You know it. Wealth transfer that is taking place. Now what is cash transfer? Which we are talking today. There are various ways of wealth transfer, but cash is just one example. But in all this democracy, these things are involved: vote trading, cash transfer, and this. Why is this? The question is both of them. I think, as I have been saying, politicians' self-interest and our self-interest. It is coincident. Because they are both maximizers and we are utility maximizers. And in the name of what? Wants of the citizens. The question is, we citizens, we want certain things. So political parties are doing this. This means what? Meeting the needs of the citizens through public expenditure. So this part you just keep in mind. And here the other thing is also involved, which we use one term. You must be knowing it. What is rent seeking? Can you say?
Corporate houses seek for favor that pay money. Rent seeking. Rent seeking is not
Yes. I think you have to understand the rent seeking. Say, wealth transfer taking place, vote trading taking place. In where you will find rent seeking means trying some very legal but illegal benefits of something. That is rent seeking, the process. So in democracy, this is becoming very common throughout. You cannot say just in India, but wherever democracy is, this rent seeking is working, and it is working in different forms at different functions or different projects. There are so many things that are involved here, which we call rent seeking.
Rent seeking is not a characteristic of democracy only. It is applicable for other models like China and all. There also rent seeking phenomena is there.
But what did you say?
I said that democracy is not attached to rent seeking only. Other models in China, in other countries, that is also involved in rent seeking.
No, I'm not arguing that part. But one thing I think that it should not be good to compare with China, because if you talk democracy, they are having only one party. So, in true sense of that term, it is not there. But rent seeking is there also in leaders. And there are so many corruption that we read in newspapers. You cannot say they are. But the only thing, whenever you compare, be conscious of the differences. So, no, yes, naturally, rent seeking means trying to get some extra benefit. Nothing else. So, this part must be conscious rather, and then what we talk here, here we say here what is called, when we say public choice theory, the other term that we are using in this context is the existence of social welfare function. Through public trust, the leaders, politicians, or whatever, they are trying to maximize what is social welfare. Social means for our benefit, it is doing that. But again, the question is social welfare function. This is again what is social welfare and what is maximization of social welfare. Then here, some authors have actually developed a certain model also. In this context, there is one economist who also got Nobel Prize, is Kenneth Arrow. And he talked about this, you can say, social welfare function. But he again is saying, he gives certain developed mathematical model, but actually he comes to the conclusion that is impossibility here. We have discussed mathematically, but coming to the conclusion that it will not actually lead to the desired result. Why? Because of the complexity that you have in our society. So you have to understand here that he tried to give certain preferences to certain kinds of what? Because it is impossibility. But again, he is saying society preference, society functions. So what are the society functions? Here you have to understand that individual preferences are not always identical to your preferences. So social, we give preference to not individual of a particular group, but majority or something like this. That is why the point comes consensus. So this social welfare function is also leading to a particular consensus as to what the society desires to have. Then again, in society, you have so many things. As I said, government. Now, here also you take into account that government as a special interest group. Now, do you think government is a special interest group in this public trust? Government. Because when you say social welfare maximization, government is part of that society. And when you say social maximization welfare, we have theory, Pareto, optimality, etc. But the question is, it is a concept in our mind that this will happen like this. Similarly, when you are talking social welfare function, we have idea about that, how it leads to. But if you actually try to understand further, then you have to take into account various social groups working in the society. Because they will aid, or they will not aid or prevent what? The maximization of the thing or benefits of the public expenditure, or they may have rent seeking or take much of the benefit to themselves. So here the point is that in society we have government as a special group. That you have to take into account. That do you think government has some special interest? No, if you think government, suppose a government, it includes politicians also, executives also, bureaucrats also, and I think you...
There are salaries and...
Yes, I'm coming to that. And have you heard this? Principal agent problem? Just when I say government is a special group, our representatives, who are they? Are they agents or principals? They are agents, we are principals. Now the question comes, are they working in the interest of the principal?
No. Partly yes, partly.
You try to understand.
Gas is certainly there, the interests are different.
But the question is what? Here, which I said in the beginning, do not forget self-interest. He says partly yes, fine. It is a fact. No, it is a fact. They are not doing everything wrong. They are helping us also. And we are getting benefit. There is no point in debating that or denying that. But the point you have to understand, they are guided by their self-interest in the sense they think what benefit they will get. In this process, they ignore our benefit. Principle. That is why we say, why we were neglected. Because our interest is different, their interest is different. So people are neglected.
Why does it cost? Do some game.
The same thing you talked about, bureaucrats come in the picture. They are self-interest. You already know what is our salary, what is our increment, what are our performance, what benefits we will get. We are more interested in that. than the duties of the administration are. This takes sympathy. Again, principal agent problem. Sometimes this is what the people in general say. आपका क्या जाता है? Government पैसा देगा. Principal agent problem is reflected here. Actually, we are paying money, but the person is saying, no, it is somebody else, so we can expend. So the question here that you have to understand is, if you take different kinds of expenditure of the government, what benefit it is actually giving to the people? Suppose they are making a very good secretariat. All kinds of things are there, luxurious. Can it correlate it with the benefit of the people directly?
Indirectly.
Of course you can say yes, people. Nobody is questioning.
No, indirectly, yes, it will increase
No, but you-
efficiency of the bureaucracy.
I do not know whether efficiency
Yes.
That's why I am saying there are certain very good terms, as you say, efficiency. You use the term social engineering. These are where my efficiency as a bureaucrat increasing, how people can know, because efficiency must be reflected in my performance. And performance means for the benefit of the people. Is it actually done or not? Because sometimes I feel maybe I wrong what helicopter they bought and then there is a scam about that. For whose benefit? Just keep in mind what I am saying. There is a plain out president, prime minister going, press conference is there, and it is like a hotel. No, I am not saying it is bad. I am simply pointing out that it is there.
Spending on toilets.
No, anything. I'm not saying the Hybrid Planning Commission, what you are referring to. So, it's not public expenditure.
The answer can be found,
No, he will support constitutional framework behind it. My point here, being conscious of these things, all these things happening, calculus consent, that is democracy.
Yes, sir, discretion was found by calculating how much hours they put in those meetings.
Yes, sir.
Sir, ये discretion
So many things are there, sir, and I'm not going to discuss that, but you keep in mind that
The building is only.
can you realize such behavior?
Building is only hello cat, you know.
No, that is why I'm saying, can you realize such behavior? We are trying. All the good brains, I said they got Nobel Prize in Economics, they have tried.
So
But even Arrow come to the conclusion, impossibility there.
some objects can be exercised, but as understood, that is the symbol of national, warehouse. These those some symbols, but not all. Yes. उनको रीड कर देते हैं जो पानी बचेगा उसको देखते हैं कि क्या पॉसिबल कर सकते हैं.
No, that is why he used the term impossibility, because the theorem, the model he developed, he said it cannot be proved or applied in the real world. Therefore, it is the impossibility theorem. But that serves the purpose. You can know how far we are from that ideal point. So I am not saying it is a great intellectual exercise that gives vision to us to go forward, subject or discussion, whatever it may be. So, but the question is, we are conscious how far we are from that ideal model and how can we reach nearer to that. So this is an equal part that you have to take into account. Further, you also understand one or more things. But I said principal agent problem. You know, I'm not going to discuss more about that. And the thing you take into account, this public trust here. In economics or in general, one is known as positive. Other is known as normative. Now positive you can say what is, and this is what ought to be. Now this theory actually having its roots based in this positive analysis, because they identify the problem, what are the problems existing, what is, and then suggestion is what should be. If you say what is ideal exchange between policymakers and the people who are paying taxes or getting benefits of the expenditure. So you can say here that approach is there. Positive means they are studying what are the actual given situation and also suggesting what it should be, how it can be rectified. As I said, I was the possibilities here. So when he said what ought to be, then he finds that there will be certain problems. Why? Because of complexity of the society. Because of main thing you should understand here that economics is basically a social science. So we study people living in society. And they cannot be framed in a particular model. Because model cannot capture all the variables through which we are governed. We are governed by so many factors. That is the complexity of the real world, and that you have to consider all the time that why it is happening. Then you will understand here that economists use other tools also to explain this. You can say public choice. There is one theory in economics which is getting, you can say, very popularity. It is used also, which is game theory. My friend Asra will explain it better. What is this game theory? How decisions are arrived at. Actually, game theory is very interdependent. What you are doing, that will determine my behavior. And what I am doing, your behavior is determined on that. So, particularly nearer to what people are now trying to explain game theory because of that vote maximization or whatever it may be in a different situation. So it is interesting in the sense that if you try to understand the behavior of the government at different points of time in the same country, this knowledge will help you to crystallize the process and to explain it in a little bit logical manner as to how this is going to help us in understanding the fact. Then, as I said, there are so many special interest groups. Government is not the only. Yes. Now, I'm sorry, I failed to know importance of this lobbying only after Neera case.
I also do.
No, I was just doing lobbying something. But now you see how, because this system is so much prevalent in US. It is part of democracy. It is legal. Why Neera came into picture? Because we have not legalized it yet. But time is not far, we are going to legalize it. Because it is in the favor of that business class also and politicians also. They are going to legalize it. You just see, I do not know, but I think that they may do it because of the corporate pressure. So that is a special interest group.
For advanced process, we use the word value.
Yes, everywhere.
Yes, sir, sir, advanced format. ये जो public
पहली तो जान बजाना तो चलो
Now you just try to see. That is the point. You in democracy, why is it not working in a proper manner? Why public trust theory is not able to work in a proper manner? What are the complexities? This is one aspect because of the vested special interest groups. Now you have to be very clear in mind what are these vested interest groups. Lobbying is one part that you have rightly said, and here you may have number of. Now here what happens in economic jargon? In economics we sometimes theorize, we sometimes use some ideal terms, and